Hello, yes,
Yes.
now. Hello, everybody. Hola,
Pero
chicos.
perdono a toda la gente que estaba conectada ya y tuvo que esperar.
No problem. People are coming and going. Is the internet? You're gonna be able to see the whole video anyway afterwards in our Instagram stories and also on our website. So hopefully everything would be okay. Anyway, how are you guys doing?
Hi, we're super
Oh,
here. Can you hear us?
yes,
Sí,
Good.
¿no?
yeah.
Wait.
Perfectly. All good.
So there's one. Wait,
All good.
I'm going to. Okay, stop like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like sorry. There we go. Okay, yeah. Hi. Hi, we're here in Buenos Aires. For the people who are watching this, it's not all going to be in English. No, it's going to be like Spanish and English.
Spanglish, as we call it
Spanish.
internationally.
Um, but first, an introduction for American society, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we're good. We're here at home in Buenos Aires, working on stuff and just being lazy,
Yeah.
I guess.
As some of you might know, I mean, like almost everywhere in the world, but Buenos Aires is enforcing a quite strict, actually, rule of stay at home. So people have to stay at home. It's stronger than here in New York. In New York, you're advised to stay at home. You're not allowed to congregate among many people, but you can go out for shopping whenever you want. You can go out for a run. You can go out. And in Buenos Aires, you cannot, basically. So everybody is at home. It's a very special city, I can imagine. I mean, being from Buenos Aires.
Yes, this is our third
Hmm.
week.
Yeah, this is like our 22nd day of
Yeah.
quarantine.
Hmm.
We do walk the dog anyway.
Mm.
We have a dog and we have
Good.
to walk, but we walk it like twice a day.
I've been hearing from friends that having a dog has become like, a precious commodity in Buenos Aires now because it's what allows you to go out for a walk.
Yes, but it's
Um,
really
Yeah.
stressful too. Like
mhm.
every time
Every time you come
you
back,
come back, you're sure you got it.
it's like 12 monkeys. You
Yeah.
have to like everything, and yeah, it's a bit stressful.
Hmm.
So let's break the ice.
Let's break the ice. So anyway, we're here, as in all these live series of talks. In the studio, we're trying to reach the artist studios. In many cases, we cannot reach the studios because the artists have a separate studio from the house. In the
Yes.
case of Lolo and Lauti, they have some works with them that they're going to show us physically, which is actually an irony because much of their work has to do with media, television, concepts.
Exactly.
So I mean, in a way, they were more prepared than any other artist for this type of situation. Um,
Yeah, I
so,
mean, we basically work at home, like um, whenever we're actually like performing or making or shooting video or something, it's like, it's like in total, it's like 10 days a year or something.
mhm,
Then it's all like pre-production and just having ideas. So we once had a studio actually in Uve when it first opened. We had a whole room to ourselves, like, for meetings and like, working there.
But
But
we
it didn't work.
couldn't work.
Like, we've always worked at each other's houses when we lived separately and then at home together. Because
mhm,
it's basically like really, I'm really bad with sitting down. I like to like lay down,
mm.
no?
We're stay-at-home artists.
Yeah, so we
Stay-at-home artist.
work a
Yeah.
lot from home. Yeah, like studio practice is not like, so whenever we have to show like a curator or someone like studio, um, we need to kind of set the house more studio-ishly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, we have to fake it a little for
As
you know.
So in that case, I mean, for those of you who don't know about them, I mean, Lolo and Lauti have been working together since 2011, 2011, and they've been doing performance and video work, and and on the side, I mean, in the bio that they put on, you know, on our website, they very discreetly said like they also curate Perfuch, Argentina's biggest performance art festival. But Perfuch is not just that; it's also a cultural phenomenon. Just to tell you, to try to share with people that are not from Buenos Aires, and then we can switch to Spanish. But I think it's important to highlight this in English. For those of you 5 years. I've been living in the US since 2011. I mean, so my contact with Buenos Aires online and through things that I can see when I go there. And I was lucky enough that you guys decided to, along with Violeta and the people in Uve Studios, decided to do the Perfuch festivals in December, which is when a lot of us, the migrantes, go back home. So I've been lucky to be able to see the last like 4 Perfuch, I think, or 3 Perfuch, I don't know. And it's an amazing thing. It's not just the biggest like performance art festival, but it's like it's a whole cultural phenomena. It used to happen. Now it's going to take a different shape when I here, but in a house in a corner of Buenos Aires, and it reunited like basically all the sectors of the art world ecosystem doing performance. So it wasn't only like something to reunite the people already making performance, but inviting a bunch of other artists that were not doing performance to do and to experiment with the media of, with actions and theater and performance or singing or and so I think it's been one of the key, action things that's been happening in Buenos Aires in the last years, and that's
We're
great.
really proud of Perfuch. This was the 4th edition of Perfuch last December.
So I've been to all of them. Wow, I'm lucky.
Yeah, and of course we're having a 5th edition this December because it's a long way from December, so we can say that.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
but maybe it won't be in that house. That's what I mean.
No. The house
is over.
Yeah, that house is over. Like we had a huge farewell party in January 15th, and yeah, so Uwe is at the moment without a physical space. But we don't know yet, but we're doing it, somewhere. Yeah, it's really cool, because it's also great. Well, like you said, like it's also a great sample of the ecosystem, performance art, etc. in Buenos Aires, because it's also in December, so it feels like a gala sort of thing, like an end of the year super event, in that respect. So it's very festive in that way. Really cool. Really cool. You could catch some of it.
Like the gala. I love that concept.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like 4 days right before Christmas, and
last year was 4 days before Christmas, which was like really.
Yeah, well, it's always around the holiday season, and we have in Perfuch in those 4 days we have around 100 performance artists from Argentina, like during like 6 hours a day.
Yeah, it's half video and half live. Yeah, and we're really proud of it. It's really a celebration of a scene we're really proud to be part of too. So it's kind of a way to group everyone together.
Yeah. That's something that's been happening I mean, we just started this series of conversations, but something that's been happening, which I think is important to highlight, is that already 3 of the artists we had, I mean, in a way, all of the artists we had, and maybe it has to do, with the natural process, or with our taste when we were selecting them, but many of them have like a very active producer curatorial side for their practice. And that was the same case with Gala, Berger, Sofia Gachiza, who's co-director of Vitarocar. She was until recently Camilo, who does a lot of collective practice. Anyway, I mean, just to explain to the audiences that when we highlight something like this, it's not just to say, oh, they're so nice and they contribute to the community, but also I think that it's a sign of a good artist. Like the best artists, they do collaborative things, and you can see that in their work, which we're about to see in any minute. But so it's important to highlight that because it's through that exchange with other artists that you guys, encourage with things through Perfuch,
Yeah.
the quality of your own practice probably, right? I mean, I don't know how you feel about it.
I think we're good working with people. Like one of our the main aspects of everything we do is like we work with the right team, and we like how to say it, like, people making groups.
Yeah, basically we don't consider ourselves to be like talented, like we don't think of us as particularly talented people. So so we're always collaborating with well, first of all with each other, like we really think, I mean, not to bring us down, but that if we work separately, our work would be much worse, like we like our whole practice is based on each other's feedback. So there's a lot of like the main thing is like our work is never like super self-indulgent, because it cannot be self-indulgent if it's two people. You know what I mean? Like we can share obsessions and we can share a lot of like like weird tastes or whatever, but it never feels self-indulgent to us, at least.
Yeah.
And working with other people, like collaborating with everyone from like Rodri, each like we have a team that we always work with, and we always say we like working with people who are more talented than us because they will have better ideas, like like based on our first ideas or whatever.
Absolutely. So why don't we start seeing some of the artworks that you had? Which I think it would be lovely. I don't know which one you want to start with, sharing
with Carmen, if you want to.
Sure. Carmen is probably your most recent piece also, right? Which I think is interesting.
It's recent-ish, yes, like
recent-ish. It's from 2018.
Yeah. Like we made Carmen as a commission in Panama for a group show called what's it called?
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god! I hope people from Panama are not watching this. Okay, whatever.
Elastic City. No, Elastic City.
No. Oh my god! Multiple cities, right? Multiple cities.
Okay.
Wait, sorry. Multiple cities. It was a group show that was made like 15 years ago, and then they had like a new one in 2018. And basically, we had to work with. It wasn't like
they called us to do like we could do whatever we wanted with a community.
Yeah.
So they said to us, why don't you do an opera? Because we had just did an opera in here.
We staged a couple of operas here, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, basically we worked on Carmen, which is a very famous opera, and it's also like the gayest opera of them all. It's like yes. I mean, Carmen as a pop star, as a gay icon, pop icon. And so we decided to tackle Carmen with drag queens and trans women who also do drag in Panama.
The idea was to do a live
performance.
So we thought like a lip sync opera would be achievable instead of like trying to rehearse with singers and everything.
We didn't have the time for that. But we had like a month.
Yeah, but as we were there, like it also proved impossible to make something live. So we switched to a video.
Yeah.
We ended up doing this video. It's like 40 minutes long.
This we made with Rodrigo Morales, who also traveled with us, and basically we started out. I mean, we had like a huge studio space / home, like huge, like a loft with like windows all over,
like ridiculously huge.
So we were like, let's shoot the whole thing here. And the first week we had some castings, and they were so good. We ended up using them in the movie.
So we wanted to start by showing you one of these castings,
like one of those castings that made it to the movie. Okay, here we go. Okay, you're gonna see myself. But wait, if we turn off the light, maybe. Okay.
I know.
Why? I know that was us. Sorry, that was us. It was 2 HD.
No problem.
Wait. Sorry about that. Okay, just a minute.
No problem.
Sorry about that. We're going to play it straight from. We're going to stream it, but be sure it's HD. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Live. Wait.
That's amazing.
Sorry we left it so much time, and we love it.
I love that scene of the video. And I can actually, if you want to talk about the production process, I mean, so
yeah.
That was one of the first auditions we had. We had seen. She's called Galilea. She's a drag queen in Panama. We had seen her on Instagram. She did a wonderful Janet Jackson. Like it was like, you know, just amazing art. Like the way she
also her meanwhile. Yeah, while you guys talk.
Like so good. And
Also when it's silent.
so we basically contacted her on Instagram. We were like, "Would you like to come to whatever?" You know,
yeah,
to have an audition.
she arrived, and like that was her audition.
That was her audition in the we
Her arrival.
the balcony because there was no light inside anymore. She was like late for the audition.
Yeah, so we were kind of lost until our first day of auditions, and after this, like we were sure we
were like, how are we not going to use that footage? You know, because it was just, like so amazing to just kind of discard as an audition tape.
So,
you know? So we worked it into the plot somehow. Rodri also edited the whole thing. The fucking genius with a genius with editing, and basically we tried to make sense of the whole thing. It's more like it's like 6 or 7 musical numbers all put together, no?
Yeah.
So we like normally we would have made that into a series of 7 videos, but it was fun to kind of like put everything together into a long piece, you know, into a movie. That was super interesting for us, and at first also because we have never made a piece so long. So like, how long is it? Like
40 minutes.
For 40 minutes.
So for the audition, like everybody should choose their own song.
Yeah.
They came, and then we asked some of them to return.
We called back.
Yeah, with doing a part of Carmen.
Yeah. So basically, like the next step in the process was like giving them a song from Carmen, and just had them lip sync to it in a different day of shooting. And Galilea, whom we saw just now, we're going to see her now in drag doing a part from Carmen. Okay. Cool. So I'll do this again. Okay. So
It's spectacular.
She was. I mean, we had seen her Instagram, and she, in a photo, she was wearing that, which is Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns, of course. And we were like, "Can you do it like dressed like this?" And she was like, "Sure." And so we had everything like set for the day of the shooting of this, like, you know, the dressing room and everything. And she was super late, like 2 hours late. And we were like, "Oh, now she has to come and do her makeup and everything." And she walked in the door like this, you know, like full makeup,
That's amazing.
costume. And yeah, I mean, we like literally whenever we cut, we'd walk up to them and say like, "We have never worked with people as talented, you know, as the Panamanian drag queen scene. Like, so good, and so underground, and with such a rich history as well of houses, you know, and you know, super like, you know, history of really great talented drag queens in Panama, you know, and they were hard to come by, but they were amazing.
Yeah, and they gave us 200% each time.
Each time. That's why, you know, drag queens are like, you know, in the entertainment industry, or in the let's say in entertainment studies, they're like, you know, at the lowest of the low, you know, like playing in bars, like for, you know, like bachelorette parties and stuff like that, you know. But we think that, you know, performance studies wise, they are like, at the top,
That's
because,
super important what you're saying. That's super important because, I mean, this idea of the underground that has been so valued for white artists during the 1970s in New York, just to give an example, is obviously not valued when we're talking about like the queer trans artists of today's underground. And you guys are highlighting that. What I really like also about your work is like, I mean, this started, I mean, in a way, Susan Sontag was talking about this when she was talking about the idea of camp, right? The appropriation of the popular or the appropriation, of the quiche or whatever you want to call it, camp. But that is so fancy compared to this, right?
oh, I mean, yes.
And what you guys are doing is like appropriating not only the idea of the underground, but also the idea of the popular and this popular taste in the most like grounded sense of the popular. And rereading Carmen, which is this like super, classic piece.
It's like, sorry.
Carmen actually has like 3 songs that are about going to the club and drinking and partying. So it's not really that. It's not high. I mean, it's high end, but originally it's like
no, and Carmen herself,
yes, popular medium. But the thing is, with entertainment, in our practice, in our work, we always try to see that, like, through performance eyes, or through like more like art theory kind of, eyes in a way. But I mean, not so intellectually, but like really, like, like. It's like, I don't know, like the drive behind our appropriation, it's basically the drive to the wish to make it, to reenact it, to make it
absolutely again. Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're not observant of this process. You are like being a vehicle for these people to be able to perform their art in a way.
And they are, that's the thing with drag queens, really. I mean, not in general, of course. There's a lot of people who think like that. But our work, with our own videos, we can show them. We can show them like
See, just a second, please.
Okay. So our work also has, I mean, our video work in general, has a lot to do with reenactment and lip sync as well, and appropriation of pop songs and stuff, and when we do it, it's like, performance art or whatever. But when a drag queen does it, normally it's like,
a party.
It just happens in a bar. It's like a background thing in a bar, or something. Okay. And that's like super unfair because we are like so talentless, Well, like, let's we'll show you what we mean.
Yeah, show me.
Okay, so this is what we meant earlier by, it's like, it's cute, of course, but
is it talent?
But is it talent?
Yeah.
This is a song by Las Trillizas de Oro, But,
you know them.
You know them, of course.
I know them. I mean, for those of you that don't know them, the Trillizas de Ora, they call them triplets, if you like. Three triplets, blonde, blue eyes, like this,
They are conservative Christian,
super Christian.
blue-eyed
Yeah,
blonde, identical triplets.
identical triplets. Yeah.
Well, so they had a pop music career
Yeah.
During the 70s.
Like abroad, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and basically, like they were super famous on TV. So, I mean, something fantastic about their work, I mean, is that they take away just like TV super trashy pop icons and they revisit them and reread them, you know.
Of course.
And you know what you made me think about it? That I mean, you just demystified it for me. I don't think it's technically possible to be identical triplets. I think that's a lie of TV. I,
So, mystery, yeah. Like,
I think you can be like non-identical triplets, but I think it's not possible for an egg to divide in three. But I mean, that's not that relevant.
We met them. They came to that show in Uve.
Wow.
Yeah, they came to that show in Uve through mutual friends.
Yeah, like a friend of ours saw them in a
bar,
in a coffee shop or something.
And they came, and
they had a video from the opening in their phones.
They came to Uve, which was probably like the punkest thing they've ever done. Like,
of course it is.
One of them in the bathroom.
In Uve. Those of you who have gone to a toilet in Uve know what we're talking about. So they came and they were and they were like if you're real fans, you know which one is which, and we were like, nah, sorry, but
I knew, but I didn't dare to say it, but I knew.
To guess which one it was.
Yeah, but so coming back to the talent thing, not to bring us down or anything, it's not about that, but it's just like, you know, drag queens, we think that within performance art are always like at the top of everything, you know, aesthetics, performance, etc.
Yes, we need less than
what they make every time, and like it's just so sophisticated, you know, in terms of performance art. So that's why, I mean, that's why the whole work in Panama was about also making it more visible to the Panamanians, you know, to the Panamanian art scene, not even like the Panamanians, like not like, you know, everyone, of course, but at least the contemporary art scene, you know, to like consider them for everything, you know, I don't know. So what else? So
that was Carmen.
That was Carmen, because if not, we're going to just talk about Carmen, right?
No. I think it would be interesting to talk a little bit about something else. Let's talk, for example, about Me Huevo Loca, which I think is super interesting.
Sure. We can wait. We have video too, no?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Do you want me to show it? I have it right here. I can also show it while you guys describe it.
Sure. So Me Huevo Loca was last year.
It was
at last year's ArteBA.
Yep.
It was a solo show we had with Ue. That's a gallery that represents us and that we're part of. And it was we wanted, like, you know, in the fair there's like this like younger gallery section, and then there's like the old gallery section. I mean, it's not called the old gallery section, but it's like the main section.
Like all these galleries, all the galleries in the world nowadays have like a main section and then a section for young artists.
Yeah, exactly. So
that was the first year of our gallery outside of
the young gallery section. So we wanted to work that was like really conspicuous, you know, that would really stand out. Like, and we wanted a performance, and so maybe I have like the sketches or something.
No.
Okay.
I mean, so I wanted to bring up for the audience, for those of us who speak Spanish, and especially for those of us who are Argentine, there's something like notorious about this, which is that there's this expression that is called hacer huevo, which means doing nothing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Sure.
And this is what these people is doing. Do you want to explain what they were doing nothing,
Yes.
They were sleeping basically because
Resting.
the work went through a lot of stages. Like it's here. No, wait.
What?
Like these are some of the original sketches for.
I love it.
Yeah, like good with pencils, we are not. But the thing is, we wanted well, first it was going to be like we went through a lot of ideas. Basically.
We went through a lot of ideas. Yeah. We like to work like with the Argentinian
like folk. Not folk. Like with with Buenos Aires iconography.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. So we also were thinking about doing something like in the key of graphic humor, and we wanted to like this is an adaptation of one of Buenos Aires most classic dishes.
Yeah.
It's like French fries with a fried egg on top.
Graphic humor, like one panel of jokes, like like those jokes that have like a caption.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a.
Yeah, like a New Yorker.
Like a New Yorker, a cartoon or something. Yeah. And so and all the performers in this performance are wonderful artists from Buenos Aires. Maybe put una foto. Wait.
Sorry. Una foto que me
muero. Okay.
Okay.
So that was it was amazing, really. Like so they were there like approximately 5 hours every day on the booth. The booth was empty, and the performance was the only work that was being displayed. Wait. Okay. Okay, like here's everyone. Like
Los amores.
Galaxia Marinero, Lilen, Mati de la Guerra, Catriel, Anne de la Fuente, Feli Álvarez, Caro Martínez Pedemonte, Bart, Gregorio is probably there. So these are all fantastic artists. Sí, Galaxia Marinero ya dije. That we really love. And basically, the thing is, the material of the egg, like it ended up being like a duvet, like a thing to sleep under.
Yeah.
But it was originally something else, like material-wise. So basically, we weren't really sure, like actually, before we changed the material, what was the performance per se going to be. And so once we settled on that, it was obvious that they were going to be napping or something. And yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it was like we were really happy with how conspicuous it ended up being. Really like a very like fun thing to watch. Basically.
Absolutely. I mean, do you realize, for example, that if I were to associate this, I mean, I think it's important also, I mean, maybe it's because I'm an art historian, right? But I mean, I think with like very contemporary artists like yourself, I think it's important to see the traces of history. I mean, and if we are to compare this with artists from the 1960s, I immediately think of Marta Minujín and Claes Oldenburg, who were also working about these ideas of like gigantic representations of food, right? Sure. And food and performance, Oldenburg didn't include performance so much. I don't think so in his sculptures, but this is all almost like a human sculpture, like the ones that Minujín did, even though hers were kind of like different. Sure. And I think that's super interesting, this like trajectory in between pop and conceptual art and performance and how it all like gets together, And obviously you're coming from like the core of the performance side of things, but at the same time you're, like totally using like pop aesthetics and at the same time, being super conceptual. I don't know. I think that's very interesting. And I also wanted to bring up how it also connects to the previous work of yours that you were going to comment on, but I can do it myself. And maybe you can tell people what this is while I show it, which I think it also has to do with French fries, right?
Wait.
Yes, we have it here. Wait. Let's.
Oh, please. Okay, I'm not going to ruin it. Let's go see it.
Anyway, that's a great picture. That's the only decent picture of the work. Any Yanchik it in where, because it's really hard to exhibit and or photograph like right now.
Really?
Not really glamorous right now.
It's not going to be like a wow, like an wow sensation, but it's here. Wait. There's Lauti. Never. Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, that's the size. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we can go back to the desk. You can show it if you want, Jaime, in your computer.
I'll show it here because I think it's important for people to read about the title Hamburglars, and it's like, what does it mean, right? And this is sculpture from, and it was shown in 2016 in ArteBA, and then in 2017 in So do you want to tell people what this is?
Sure. It's a sculpture. It's made out of
100 stolen McDonald's trays. Sorry.
Yes.
McDonald's trays. Yeah, we stole 100 McDonald's trays over a period of time, like a year,
2 years,
or 2 years or something.
But actually, like we stole like 12 in 2 years, and the last week before ArteBA, we stole like the rest.
Like
stealing is a strong word.
Yeah, Lauti prefers like whenever we have to like write about it, Lauti prefers the Spanish equivalent of purloin. You know purloin in English?
Yeah.
Is hurtar, which is like the exact same thing, but I guess legally, I don't know, or something. Like whatever. Like but well, so to make a long story short. When we first met, I had just moved to a new place, and I wanted to get some trays, like for bed or something. And Lauti was like, "You should steal McDonald's," and I was like, "Oh, cool, yeah, sure." And so it became this thing that we started like stealing McDonald's trays all the time for no particular reason. And once we were in McDonald's and we saw this huge pile, and it just looked so much like art. It just looked like this German brown plastic sculpture, like very cold, heavy contemporary art. And so we had this, our first ArteBA with Uwe, and so we were like, this is perfect for it because it looked so much like art, And what's interesting also is that it's a sculpture, of course, but the technique, which is, theft, it's pure performance.
Purloin.
Yeah.
It's like pure performance because you really have to,
absolutely
to steal a tray from McDonald's. Not that it was difficult or anything.
No, but it took hours.
It took a while.
It took money.
It took a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, when people are like, so what did you do? We're like, well, we had to steal trays, which is not, it's not the easiest thing.
Of course, it's not. But I think it's great because it's also, like it talks about like this idea, it's taking upon like McDonald's, which is this super trashy icon, right? I mean, whether we like it or not.
It's also a very beautiful classic industrial design object that is not for sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
McDonald's trays are beautiful. They're really, really cool design-wise and nice. So it was also that, like this giant monolith of brown plastic, and but that's the only decent picture ever taken of this work. It's really hard to like light and put in physical perspective.
Yes, we're saying it for.
I'm sure you can create one of these. I'm pretty sure you can. One day. I mean, I'm sure you can create one of these. I mean, anyway, I feel like museums should pay attention to this piece. Collecting museums. It's a great piece. So I wanted before we're gonna get cut soon. So I don't know if you want to comment on Laguna Matata, which we mentioned.
Sure.
Let's go about that, which I think it could be interesting for other Latin Americans seeing
Of course, Mafalda.
Mika.
Yeah.
Because it refers to Mafalda. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure.
Sure. These are videos we did
2017, no? No, 18. También. Sí, 18.
2018.
We don't remember anything. Yeah.
So we adapted.
A lot of what we do comes out of a consumer desire in a way. Like, why isn't there a live action Mafalda? You know, either commercial or arty or whatever. Why has it never been done before? You know, so
Yeah.
we basically wanted to, you know, fill that void. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we chose Fernanda Laguna for Mafalda because we think that
they share a lot of.
they're like it was like perfect casting in our minds. Like who else could play Mafalda?
Yeah.
And legendary, wonderful, super legendary artist Fernanda Laguna. We love her so much. And we, of course, we admire her so much, and you know, like,
and she fits the physique role perfectly when you see it.
Perfectly.
So shall we see a video?
We work with again in wardrobe with each, and hair by Alestar, who is just a great wig artist and hair artist, and Sebas Estrada on makeup again, and so we basically okay.
Wow, así es.
Ah, tan cortito.
Yeah, they're very short.
Okay, we thought they looped.
Yeah.
So there's something really interesting, of course, with comics and comic strips, like how you perceive sequences, and we wanted like also.
Let me just show the audience. This is the original comic that they're recreating.
Sure.
Give me 1 second. I have it right here. This is it.
Perfect. Yeah. That's the one.
So what they're doing is they're doing in live action this original comic by Kino, which is Mafalda, which if you are a Spanish speaker from anywhere in the world and you are in between, I want to say 30, I mean, I feel in all saying this, but like 25 and 60, 70, you know who she is. This is the most successful comic ever or something like that. I don't know. It's like our Peanuts, right? I would say it's the equivalent to our Peanuts or our Charlie Brown. And it was a very political also. And it was a super political comic.
Liberal Peanuts ever.
Yeah.
You know, and also like, you know, an amazing, you know, 60s icon in every sense. And also we were like, we asked a lot of people like who know a lot about like 90s art, like Brusone or Raul Flores, like hasn't like anybody tackled Mafalda before, because we thought like, you know, in the 90s they were super obsessed with the 60s and everything, but no, like nobody did anything with Mafalda, and so we were like, this is like something we'd love to see, you know. So that's basically why we did it. That's the only like, you know, the reason behind it is to fill that void. You know, why hasn't there been a Mafalda live action thing ever? This is another one. No?
Well, this is another one. This is yeah.
That one, she's like walking a turtle, but we only see that in the last panel, and that's the one. And in the previous panels, people are like laughing with their dogs. So basically, that, I mean, what we said before about, you know, the like sort of like the performativity of appropriating stuff, which is basically how great does it feel to reenact these things? How cool does it feel to kind of to invade the archive?
Yeah.
You know? The thing drag queens do all the time.
Something I wanted to say, you know, especially in case we get cut because Instagram is very cruel. I mean, TV time is, el tiempo en la televisión es tirano. Like we're saying.
Es tirano, yeah.
Es tirano. No, but I do want to highlight, you know, I think it's important that you took upon like Mafalda, and when you were making that question, why did people did not took upon it? It's because it takes a lot of courage to discuss something as popular and as, you know, known by everybody as Mafalda. It takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of creativity to give it a new twist, which is something that you guys were able to do.
That's the thing. So, you know,
it's not easy.
We don't have formal art training, neither of us. We went to film school, both of us. And that's the thing I think that comes from film, as opposed to art.
Absolutely.
That is like, you know, it happens in theater and in film, it happens a lot. There's a lot of remakes all the time. Like every year, there's a revolutionary new staging of Hamlet. You know what I mean? Like every year, like that material is there to remix all the time, you know?
Absolutely.
And in art, it's like this, you know, like rarer thing in a way, but like it shouldn't really be because it's the same.
I completely agree, and I think something amazing, I'm going to say this in Spanish, algo espectacular sobre el trabajo de ustedes es que es realmente un trabajo que desacraliza todo. Y desacraliza precisamente, digamos, armando como una reflexión intelectual sobre algo completamente popular. Y me parece que es un gesto súper democrático, me parece que es un gesto necesario en una cultura como la de Buenos Aires, que es una cultura súper snob, súper, digamos, elitista de cierta manera, digo, para estar lo que somos, que es Latinoamérica, somos Latinoamérica, al fin y al cabo no somos Europa.
Obvio.
Y me parece que precisamente los artistas más importantes, incluso las culturas del centro, como París o New York, por hablar de grandes centros artísticos del siglo XX, los artistas que más se destacaron fueron precisamente esos que pudieron agarrarse de lo popular, como Warhol, Niki de Saint-Phal, en Francia, Yves Klein, que también hacía un montón de performance y de chistes sobre la idea de lo popular.
Hay algo también popular, hay algo también con lo popular que está muy relacionado a lo gay y a lo femenino.
Total.
Digamos, como que hay algo con el tema del mal gusto, exacto, y lo grasa, que es también como lo pobre, o sea, y lo poco educado, etcétera, etcétera, que son conceptos muy hegemónicos también. O sea, como artistas queer también es algo que hacemos